Hi, welcome to the Stockinette Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Janitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 203. The one where it's February already.
It is.
It's like a reoccurring theme for us.
Yeah, like time is flying.
Yes, yep. I feel like definitely trying to keep afloat in a life that is quickly passing me by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how it got to be almost Friday this week.
I know.
And I much preferred last week.
Yes.
My almost Friday last week was so much more fun.
Yes.
We had some snow, which led to what I considered maybe a one needless snow day.
Yes.
And then, so there was 2 snow days this week, if you're keeping track at home. One of them was really, like, it was bad out. I'm glad that they didn't take the kids to school just to have them turn around and come back home. But then the other one, it was like, why are we at home? Just makes it hard to get work done and do work and juggle family and yep. And what else is going on? So we both went to Madison last week, and we're at the fabulous Sun Valley Fibers retreat. Lots and lots of fun had. And it literally was like the January Thaw.
Yeah.
It was
very nice out.
Yeah, there was no bad weather. I thought maybe the rain on the way home was going to get
dicey.
Yep, but then it surprised me. It was not. But yeah, yep. Bought a lot of yarn. And obviously by my overflowing tubs, don't need it. But it was fun all the same. And yeah, anything else going on with you other than recuperating from snow days and being gone?
Yeah. Let's see, snow days, so that was bad, and then worked from home on Wednesday, which just made, like, you're at home, but you have to ignore everything and work. You know, so like, Matt gets home and he's like, my husband, he gets home and he's like, well, what have the kids done all day? Huh? No, I've been working. They've been not killing each other and not yelling. It's been fabulous. And so then
those kids.
Yeah. And so then he kind of guilted them into like exercising the rest of the evening. So they're like running around the house like crazy people. So we don't get anything done. So today felt like catch up for sure.
Yes, for sure. My children built an igloo. That big snowfall.
That sounds
they
fun.
piled a bunch of snow up, and then the top got crusty. And then yesterday they went out and hollowed it out, and then today they went out and ruined it.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. But yeah, what else is going on that's new and noteworthy that I wanted to mention? Finished the Felicia Day's autobiography that was Everybody's Weird on the Internet, almost. And if I can like boil that down to a kernel of truth, she was kind of a intermittent working actress and went to like this women's support group, and they were encouraging her to use, she was obsessed with World of Warcraft, her obsession with the gaming world, to kind of write her own series and record her own series. And she went out and did it, and it was successful, and a large part of her career is now based off of that success. And so yeah, to boil that all down, the hallmark tagline would be, don't let yourself be the first person to say no to your dreams, right? So don't be the naysayer in your life. Like, tell yourself, yes, you're going to do this, and have other people shoot you down and have, reality get in the way or whatever, but don't be your own negative Nelly, basically. So, and it was a pretty good book. I didn't know some of the Gamergate stuff that she had dealt with, and wasn't really in the know with all of that, like with the airing of people's addresses and stalkers, and yeah, it was kind of crazy.
I did not know about that either.
Yeah, but then now I've started, and I guess I feel like these autobiographies, there's always, I'm a lumper, so there's in data mining, there's lumpers and splitters, and I'm a, things are mostly alike type person. So like I listened to Felicia and I'm like, that's kind of like our podcast. We decided to get out there and do this and put ourselves out there, right? And now I'm listening to Amy Poehler, Yes Please. And she's, there's kernels of truth in there. There's like, that's kind of like, I don't know. I'm a lumper. I think that things are similar. So, and that's a pretty good one.
Now, if we could pursue our dreams and have it pay us.
Yeah.
So that we could quit these other jobs.
Yeah. Yep. And hers is very entertaining. Like, she has Seth Meyers on there, and she's got Catherine Turner? No. Kathleen Turner. Yep. Is kind of her dark voice. And her mom and dad are on there. It's very entertaining. Yeah, I've been enjoying my digital listening to audiobooks via the Rochester Public Library.
Cool.
Yeah, I really like that I don't have to download the Overdrive app.
Cool.
Yeah, I can just listen to it via the browser, and then the browser keeps track of where I am in the book, and I can do that across multiple locations. My laptop, my phone, yeah, super sweet.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, I got a lovely letter from somebody who watches the podcast who was saying that they really liked when I talked about some of my workouts because it was inspiring them. I did more burpees today. Yay. But I also did GHD sit-ups. So that's a glute ham developer sit-up. So your feet are locked into this machine, and there's something under your hamstrings, and then you reach back behind you and touch the ground, and then you shoot yourself up and touch your toes. And so I did some of those today. I was told in 2 days I would be crawling around wishing I would die because they are deceptively easy on day one because they're fun, right? You're like whipping yourself up and you're excited and they're easy. And then 2 days later, your muscles catch up with that and go, wait a minute, what did you do to me?
Yeah.
This
not
is
something
wrong.
that muscles you normally use.
Right.
Yeah.
So another thing that I've decided to focus on is trying to do some kipping. So it's a gymnastic technique for getting your pull-ups in rapid succession, and they're easier to do than strict pull-ups. Not easier. Say they take less muscle strength, but
Upper body strength.
But you do have to get this swinging motion right, and that takes coordination. So they might be harder in that regard. But something that the coach put me on this week to test that was rings. So like, Olympic ring type rings, and I'm holding on to them and trying to do this kipping motion. And it was interesting. It was a lot of fun.
That is interesting.
I cannot do it on the bar yet, but you're trying to throw your feet behind you and then kind of push down on the bar to bring your feet forward. And I can't get the push down on the bar to bring your foot forward part. I end up just falling straight down after I kick back. Not falling, but instead of, I lose all of my momentum. Like all that momentum I generated, I go, done. So I need to somehow figure out the rhythm of getting that so that I can swing through it and carry the momentum. I don't know. It takes a lot of practice, and I'm trying that out. Cool. I also am working on making my double unders, which is 2 rope swings under 1 jump. Trying to get those to be consecutive. Right now I can do a double single combo. My body likes that rhythm, and I can do it quite well. I can string together, I think the max that I've done when I'm, in a workout is 15, and then I hit a foot or something happens and I can't go on, and then I start them over. But those are coming along nicely, and hopefully one day I will have them strung together so I don't have to do any singles in between. that was an interesting workout today. It was really fun.
Cool. I've been eyeballing as my next event. You have to be a male employee, so that doesn't help a lot of folks out, even if you were in the Rochester area. But Climb the Clinic.
Oh, okay.
So they're climbing a lot of the stairs indoors here pretty soon. I was kind of bummed because like Ellie and Dex couldn't go do it with me, and they love to climb stairs. So it's just employees for like insurance and whatever purposes. Yeah. I was like, bummer.
It's weird. I wonder how the Empire State Building handles that. They have a race to the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah. Like, well, I'm sure that Mayo could have you sign off on it as well, but they are a medical facility, so I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, that's Climb the Clinic, and that's going on here fairly soon. Any other goings-ons? I was going to mention this beautiful shawl is hand knit by my dear friend Annette, and this is her hand spun. Isn't it gorgeous? Mm-hmm. I really like how the blues and greens of this, the marl in the hand spun, plays off of this green. Mm-hmm. So the other day I saw it laying there, and I had this green sweatshirt on, and I was like, well, I'm just going to feel dressy and fantastic even while I'm wearing my hoodie. And there's some beads down on the bind off as well, so there's lots of pretty sparkle in this light. I don't know if you can see it, but nice. January's done. Yeah, who knew? Huzzah. One of the longest months. Mm-hmm. This February is the longest it can be. 29 days. Celebrated Groundhog's Day at home with the children. And thought it was really weird. They mentioned the groundhog shouldn't have seen, or should have seen, his shadow, but they talked to him in Groundhogese, and he told them that he didn't see his shadow. Al Roker told me that there was enough sunlight and whatever that he should have seen his shadow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the groundhog said that he didn't. Thanks, Tom.
Well, how does that work?
They talked to him.
Oh, okay.
And he has a poem that he that they recite for him. I also watched a little bit of Groundhog's Day because Comedy Central had it like on back to back.
I didn't realize that. I would have recorded it.
Yes, it's pretty classic. Jeremy was trying to explain it to our kids as the beginning it's kind of funny, and then it gets really dark, and then it gets romantic. Which is how it goes, a progression.
Yeah.
It's the circle of life, the circle of comedy. Laugh out loud funny to dark to romantic. But self-striping. This is from Post Yarn, Giants Causeway. That would be super fitting if the Giants were playing in the Super Bowl this weekend. But a really pretty minty green and gray from Post Yarn, which is through simplysockyarn.com. It's a beautiful Corriedale, which has a little bit of a halo. It's Corriedale nylon, 25% nylon. A little thicker, because it's only 393 yards for 100 gram skein, which I think I'm going to start trying to knit more socks at that weight, because some of the thinner sock yarns, I'm noticing maybe my gauge is getting a little looser. The thinner ones seem really thin all of a sudden, and something thick like this that's under 400 yards for 100 grams. It's up nice and beefy. But there were, did I write down? Yes, 2 through 148. And I drew through 3 winners. The first winner was number 24, and that's the winner of the yarn. Knitting Geisha. So Knitting Geisha, if you contact me, I will send this to you in short order or as quickly as possible. It seems like Fridays are always my shipping day. Like I keep on wanting to get it out during the week, and then I finally make it to the post office to drop it in the mailbox. I can do the shipping at home, the printing of the shipping at home, but you could drop it in a blue mailbox. I don't know if there's any of those that ain't close.
That's right. You just don't work downtown anymore.
I don't. And then the other 2, so 24 was the first one, Knitting Geisha. The other 2 were 101 and 38, and that was I want to say Falala, but it's not, it's Falal Sun, number 101, Falal Sun, and number 38, 101 was Falal Sun, 38 was Rosebob. And those are both pattern prizes. So contact me and I will gift you any of my patterns that you think would look awesome in self-striping. Otherwise, I've got a bundle if you need some inspiration. So, prizes. Ding ding. Prizes. Fun.
Certainly are. And the knit along for the Persian Dreams KAL, I will have a prize at the end of February, beginning of March. It's still the chicken bag. It's a large silver shed bag. It's a nice size, and it's got chickens on it.
Chickens!
I posted it in the forums where people are playing along. So if you go out to those forums, you can see a picture of it. What else is there to say? But I did get enough entries that we went into the second page. Yay! So it'll be awesome as February's coming along. People will be able to enter their second, and some people will be entering their first. But you know, start rolling. It's gonna be nice.
Keep on.
And I am still excited about that pattern. I did have to rip a little bit of it back.
Row.
Just some gauge, tightness in the. I was like, I don't know what I was doing when I knit the orange, but the orange is super tight.
Uh-oh. Opposite problems. My socks are getting looser gauge and your squares are getting tighter.
Yeah.
Did you have any FOs to speak of?
Sort of. I have half objects or partial objects.
Yeah.
So I have socks. So this is from Lemonade Shop. This is a sock blank. And the other sock will look just like this. I'm about to here on the second one. So I have a feeling that that'll zoom once I get past the heel, and it's on to the pretty colors again. And then I have my slide out of foliage. That's a Leading Man Fiber Arts colorway, and I got this really nice striping effect on the top and the bottom. And the heel will mostly be hidden. It'll either be in a shoe or it'll be under, my pant cuff or whatever. So I think it looks gorgeous. And I have started sock 2. It's a top down, so it's going to be, it's like barely started. It's got like half an inch at the top. But I did start it. So that's 2 of those. And then
those were those new sock blockers?
Yes, I figured I'd bring them back out for enabling. But yes, I bought these at the Sun Valley Fibers retreat. Jeanette's husband George makes the wooden things in their shop, and they had a whole bunch of these sock blockers. I bought a cherry one, or cherry pear, and was very tempted to buy a cutting board. Beautiful. Very excited, but they're just so thick, and my family has a lot of cutting boards, and I don't know if I need a butcher block cutting board, just a really thick one. I don't know where I would put it.
You can tell what era I grew up in, because when you say a cherry sock blocker, I think of Pee Wee Herman's cherry and go, that doesn't look like cherry at all.
Cherry!
Cherry!
Then I have some granny squares. So inspired by the Bacon Fairy, she had some lovely crochet pants that she wore a pair at our retreat, but this pair is not the ones she wore at our retreat. These are a new pair.
Because one pair is never enough.
No. Well, and I think the other pair was reclaimed by her friend. So this is her pair that she made, and so cool, so awesome. But our retreat's in June, so I figured I should make a skirt. So I was thinking I would just find some and repurpose them, or find it, I would go out and search out acrylic yarn squares and get them and then sew them together. But so many people were generous with their scraps and minis over the weekend. People were giving me. And to the point where I could still add a square to my blanket and turn one into a crocheted one. So I got 5 crocheted tiny squares done, and I figured I would sew them into strips like this, and then, you know, if I felt lazy in any sense of the form, I would just attach the top row and have the rest of them kind of fly free, you know, over some shorts. So kind of like a tie skirt or whatever.
Okay.
But that was if I got lazy. Otherwise, it's going to be a pencil skirt type thing. Or at least, you know, not a mini skirt, but, you know, shorts will be handy. You know, they're very woolly.
I was wondering if you were knitting them at a tighter gauge so that you would, I guess, to use the minis, so that you would have less gaping holes, because those are smaller holes than if you were knitting them.
Well, I was also thinking of the amount of fabric that you sit on, you know, and be like wearing a blanket if you had like the acrylic squares.
Got it.
And so this was feeling like, oh, it's more garmenty if I have them being the small, and as we know, crocheted is a thicker fabric. So I don't know. I knit up one just because, and then it was so cute, I decided to keep going. So now I have a bunch. And I also figured if I wore it and it was a novelty and I think like, oh, that was silly and I never want to do it again, I can convert it into a pillow, a blanket, something. It can live on and be repurposed again.
Yep.
It's like blankets turned into pants, turned back into blankets. Well, something like that.
Yeah, repurposing. Upcycling, right? Wasn't that the word?
Fancy term.
Back in the day, upcycling.
And that was it for finished or partially finished objects.
Okay. I finished my skews. So I think I had 1 pair of skews a week in January, and now I don't have any skews on the needles, and I feel kind of sad, but I've got another self-striping on the needles. So this was the Forest Friends kit, so you can see the bag and the sock here. Kind of fun. Like walk around wearing your socks and carry something else, and But Friends of the Forest, and this is Highland Handmaids, which is one of those almost, I would call it sport sock yarns, and they're super fun. I did not make them matchy, so they are not OCD to such that you're that you can look at them and see the true chevron in them, but and it made it a little harder to make sure that they were the same length. But I'm happy with them. I might not do the true upside downy, but it's just even on my foot, which is less of a tactile object. You can tell they're a little more dense and squishy. So, and I really love the colors, and like I said, missing the skews right now. But
yes, after you had said that it would work without changing the pattern, I did pull out a sport weight self-striping out of my stash. So I hope to be skewing soon.
Cool.
Give it a go, as it were.
Yeah.
Give it a second chance.
Yes. You can do it.
So
do you think you'll go up a needle size? I didn't have to, but you knit pretty.
Yes, I would.
Tightly.
I think I would have to.
Yep.
But
previous conversation, right?
I still have my first skews, so I can certainly try them on and go, okay, these will work,
Yeah.
Have a comparison way to see if I'm doing things correctly this time around.
Cool. All right. Your current work in progress is sitting in your hands.
Yes, I am crocheting yet another square. This one's out of 7/1/6 knit.
Yeah, I saw a couple people bring up some pretty scraps for you.
Yeah,
and then we saw
this is my scraps, but yes.
Had quite a few folks around us that had those handy pocket, not pocket, but travelable scales.
Oh, yes.
I was like, wow.
Everybody's ready.
Yeah. Raring to go.
So yeah, I'm just doing a basic granny square. And when I get done and I can weave in some ends, I think that'll be an interesting one. That's a self-striper. So it's kind of doing something.
Radiates.
Yeah.
Outside there.
Doing something interesting. And let's see. My hat didn't get too much further along. I don't know.
Still pretty.
I think it's in timeout, but not for any reason other than I have a lot of other stuff I've been working on. So, pretty. Yeah. And I don't have an immediate need for a hat. So,
feel like the receptionist in Elf, but you could totally be in a Christmas card with that hat.
Yeah, I do want to finish it, so I'll probably work on it this weekend, pound out the last bits here.
You don't have to ask me twice to do color work.
Yeah. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Oh, I love color work.
I didn't put anything on my lap or to the side this time, so it's
There's
Santa
Clausing it?
That's what I discussed. It's not even a half an inch, just like 3 rows. And there's that. I did not oversell that. That is that. And I actually converted the thing into a ball.
Okay, I was going to say.
Because pulling from the opposite side caused this weird thing where I had to untangle the yarn. Like every couple rows I had to untangle the yarn, and it was annoying me. So I pulled from the other end and made a ball. And it works out perfect.
In general, that's my stance on center pull balls as well. Like, as long as they're behaving, I'm fine with them. But if the stuff starts catching stuff and it becomes an unruly mess, I'm like, you're being converted.
Yeah.
Done. To a little gobstopper.
Yep.
And that's all the yarn that you have left? Is that little ball there?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
it looks so big in the blank.
Well, you want to see here, it's pretty dense. I'll let you.
Were you?
Wow. Aggressively dense.
That's like the black hole of yarn right there. Like 3 whole skeins of yarn is in that little thing. And there's a lead in the center.
Certainly feels like
it. It does. I should have, for comedic effect, throw it to me.
This is my threshold.
And you got a picture with the designer.
I did.
Melanie.
Yes. Thank you to Kelby Quinn for taking those pictures. She was taking some candid shots when I was unaware. So I have pictures of me like both of us looking at the item rather than just having it held up with smiles. But yeah, got a lot of progress done while I was at the retreat, and then it kind of went into timeout. I guess a lot of things, as soon as I got back, I wanted to play with my stash. So I just did a lot of like rearranging.
Yeah.
Like all those minis, I went through every single mini that I had and determined whether or not if it was okay or approved to go into the blanket. So some of them had not the minis that were given to me this weekend, but in the other ones that have gathered up, if they were sparkly, if they were too fuzzy, like because they had silk content, or too shiny because they had bamboo content, I took them out. I didn't even want to look at them anymore, so they were gone. And then kind of arranged what I had in a way that was like, ooh, this is one, and I don't know. So I'm going to probably lay out my blanket again and pick like what's going to happen in the next like 20 placements, or maybe just stick to a dozen, because I was thinking of putting it in one of those clear Target egg cartons, the order in which I want to do them next. It's drying in my dryer rack right now.
Cool.
I'm excited.
I like the neckline on that, and I also like how the it kind of reminds me of the literally over the top a little bit, except that's twisted rib, right? And then I like how the tonal really it pops with that.
Yep.
That textured. And then, did you say you were alternating skeins?
I am.
Okay.
I have been alternating skeins. When it was two-sided, the first two skeins and then the second two skeins, and then now it's back to the first two skeins in the round. And then the second two skeins will be the sleeves. Here's hoping.
Cool. Very
So,
pretty.
Yep. And it's been very easy. It was good retreat knitting. It wasn't I didn't have to rip anything back. It was very easy. If anything, the one that I had to rip back was the big shawl from Skano, the Miss Grace. I don't know where that is. I thought I had it to bring, and I must have swapped it out at the last second. But I only have 4 forms left, so that also might get some love this weekend. So hat and shawl might get a lot of love this weekend, just because they're so close. Push, Amy, push. Well, push. Picking up the 700 and some stitches around the outside. But having the shawl done would be great. And then here is the progress on my square. I ripped out all this orange and this evening started putting it back in. So I I really did have it nearly done. And I was like, that orange is really tight around the increase area. And I just did not like the way it was looking.
Did your arm itch?
It was looking puckered.
Because I was like, what does that have to do with the increase area? But your arm must have itched?
Yes.
Okay. Really, I was like, but you're not putting it on your arm. Maybe I've had some recent sleeve tightness, and I was like, what? This is a blanket. Sorry.
It's like I was making, like along the thing.
Okay, got it.
Had an itch, so the arm went over here.
Sorry, miscues, verbal miscues, or not verbal, non-verbal miscues. Very pretty.
Yeah, so it's starting to look like it should, especially along the increases. It was puckering and being really weird, so I had to fix it.
Are you doing anything different other than thinking like loosey-goosey thoughts?
Thinking loosey-goosey thoughts, stretching the stitches out, making sure that when I make that loop, it's not too tight.
Whenever I see Vicki, Heartland Knits knitting colorwork, she's always knitting it inside out, so that she's knitting around on the, and so the floats are around the outside. And I've always thought that'd be a way to do it too, right?
Yeah, to make sure that you're not. Yeah.
Yep.
So I have not very much to go, and this one will be done.
Do the number of colors per hexagon differ
Yes.
per square? Okay.
Yep. Patterns at home, but yeah, you and then the fun part is like gathering up what goes in the bag for that particular hexagon. So this is chart 5, and I'll go back to chart 1 for square or for hexagon 3, so that I can do all the centers, the center squares.
Yeah, we are a fairly odd couple because the I amassing the contents for that isn't often my favorite thing to do. Like I like having things already like kitted up for me, and I don't know. I think it's like the decision making of what things are going to be. Sometimes I struggle with.
Oh yeah, I guess because when I'm thinking about my yarn blankie, like deciding which color goes next is just like it takes forever.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking like, it'd be fun to have it all laid out on the floor and then put what I had decided on in order, because I know several times I've decided what's next and then I take a break and I forget what's next. And so then, I have these 5 colors that I had put in the bag with the project, so they must be the ones that are next. Which one was it? And so then I spend another 10-15 minutes planning it out. So yeah, I was hoping to implement a process, but still have the chance to look at all the singles, or all the scraps while I'm making my decisions. Because I don't know, the last, I put in 3 yesterday, and it's interesting because, like, I don't think they go together. Like, I don't know how to explain it. They're like this. They're oriented like diamonds, and so not like squares, like diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I put them next to each other, they're not actually gonna be next to each other. They're gonna have their corners touching, right? So then, what I do is I take my fingers like this. Okay, this is really, I analyze this stuff way too much. But I take my fingers in a square, and then I put them in over the square below, centering it, and see what all the edges around that square below is, and then I go, oh, it fits. I knew there was a reason that I thought that those things worked well together, and so then I do this to make sure that around that one square, each touching square looks really nice.
Yep. I get it. Because the one dips down, right?
Yeah.
And you don't always get the actual literal, like, right next to it one. Yeah.
Yeah. So since they are like that, they need to go with the row below more than they need to go with the one next to them. But the last, like, if I look at all of them, they did kind of flow pretty well, and then there was 2 in the middle that were just kind of like irritating me. They were a little bit thinner yarn. That might also had something to do with it, right? They weren't as puffy as my other squares, so I was like, once I get to the next row, I won't even see it anymore, and it'll be fine. But for right now, they're bugging me.
Yep. Yeah. In general, I try to address those things that bug me. Otherwise, they always bug me, and then I look for, where was that place that was bugging me? Obsessed Lunch? No, not me. I have 2 works in progress. So, as I mentioned, I have another self-striping. I don't know why it constantly tickles me, but, like, I opened up the bag and kind of had it sitting there and was like, oh, look, it's the same colors. Like, that blue jumps out, and the yellowy green, and the pink, and the black, and I don't know. So, I'm making some static zings, and this is with the Vesper with nylon, which is a different base than she normally has. Both bases have their merits, but the other one is definitely a lot, so the 100% merino is definitely a lot softer, and it's thinner. So this is a thicker yarn, and it has more of it's not acrylic, but it kind of has more of that rougher feel to it, which I think will translate to some socks that will really wear really well. But I just turned the heel, so I was thinking today as I was thinking through what projects and what we'd be talking about and whatnot, that could you call this like a quarter? Because this is a quarter of a finished object. It's a quo. Could you call it a quo?
No, because it's not finished.
It's quarter finished. I could wear it like this. It would be like the Rose City rollers.
Well, we like the half finished object because it's actually
something's finished.
It's actually off the needles.
Yeah, I could wear it like this.
You could, but the needles are still on it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say no.
Okay, say no to the quarter object. I really like the interplay on the top of the foot. I went down a pattern size. So this is actually the 28 stitch versus 32 because the top is super stretchy and it's a beefier base. I really like how the toe and the heel are stripy. But then, there's the fun interplay on the top, as I just said. I'm repeating myself. And yeah, these are definitely my colors. These are my colors, yo. And I think that's all I had to say about that. It's a fun little thing to knit on. I'm just pulling from the inside and the outside, and I think, I removed just a little bit at the beginning and have had a little bit of where they collided, but I think, again, that kind of adds to the kind of scrappy, almost looks like the Maxwell House, or not Maxwell House, the Maxwell sound waves. Yeah. But these are static zing. And did I have anything? Oh, I also like on the back. That's just fun. I could definitely knit some scrappy socks where you would have the fun interplay on the back. I saw some really cool socks by General Hog Buffer. Had some slip stitches that traveled, but they were opposite colors, and so it was something like this where you were alternating rows and slipping and cabling, and it was just so much fun. It was in the Ravelry hot right now today. And then I cast on the Checks and Balances pullover. This is an oversized pullover. It's a free nitty pattern. I'm trying to remember. I think it's probably going to be a name that I have no idea how to pronounce. By Boadicea Vinnerts. Boadicea Vinnerts. From back in, does it say 2013? Checks and Balances. It's a layering piece. So you can kind of see she's got like a collared shirt underneath. And I am using, I had two what I had deemed fingering weight sweater quantities in my stash of a similar base. So this is Charlemont is the blue. It is teal blue, although I wouldn't really call that a teal blue. Against the green, it looks a lot more navy. But it's got silk and polyamide and fine superwash merino. Value Yarns, which is Webb's Yarns, and then Dye for Yarn, which is out of Denmark. I'm trying to remember where it's out of, but it's wool and silk, 75% wool, 25% silk, and this is Drunken Acorn Bloom. And so when you look at them separately, I have zero doubt that the camera isn't going to really pick it up. This just reads really navy blue, and there's the silk in both of them make them kind of shiny, as you were mentioning in your skirt ruling out. But then together, sometimes the blue kind of ends up looking like a darker green. The color theory just really is making me happy here. Like if I focus on the green, I really see my green that kind of matches my sweatshirt. And if I focus on the blue, so I got to the underarms. This is a 40-inch bust or 40-inch diameter. So if you're thinking that it looks a little big, it is going to be some positive ease. But my recent all over, I'm really worried about the stitches falling off there. My recent all over color work has been kind of on the tighter side, because obviously color work, you as you were seeing with your hexagon there, sometimes it can get tight. And so I wanted it to have lots of positive ease and be kind of a bigger sweatshirt. Pullover. There is some steeking on the neckline, but there are a lot of people that have not steeked it. And so I'm not quite there yet on the decision process. Pattern is super memorizable, and I thought it was really good retreat knitting. I did have some troubles with the sleeve. So the pattern is very bare bones as far as there's like one line on how to do the sleeve increases and where you start in the pattern to get it to meet up with the underarm. And so there was 2 stitches on this side and 2 stitches on that side, and they matched. They were the checkered pattern according to how she had it written up. And so I knit a full sleeve, and I got up to the top, and just for grins and giggles decided to like match it up. And I was like, well, that doesn't match. Like, she has an error in her pattern. And there's a few people out there that have knit it, but I think they're folks that are really, they've done a lot of color work, more advanced knitters. And so I was like, well, maybe they just kind of reverse engineered it, and I can figure this out. I can figure it out, and I can get it right. And so the issue was, if you've got increases under arm, I can't just swizzle it to make it fit into the hole, right? I mean, if they were uniform across, you could kind of rotate it, but I wouldn't want the sleeve increases to be in the front or in the back. So I charted it and figured it out, and got it up to where I was done with the increases, which I'm doing less frequently than the pattern calls for. So the pattern calls for every 3, and I'm doing it every 6. because it was just like all of the increases were done at this part of the arm, and that's definitely not your thickest part of the arm. Again, a lot of positive ease in the pattern, but I thought that was kind of ridiculous because that's a lot of fabric through here. So I'm doing it every 6, and got through the increases and held it up again after I had reverse engineered it and gotten it figured out, and I went, this isn't right. Like, it still isn't lining up. Like, so the one side lined up a heck of a lot better than the problem that I had run into earlier, but the other side still didn't line up, and I didn't want it not to look right, right? Like, to have the pattern alter once it got here. Even, well, even underarm, it wouldn't have mattered. I would have had to have rotated it, and I was like, well, this is a mathematical impossibility. I told myself, like, there's no way to fit this in. Well, the way that I had interpreted the pattern was that the underarm increases were mirrored. So I was going up with checkered, and then I was going up with the green solid, and then I was going up with the blue solid. And you can't do that when you've got an even number of patterned underarm that you bound off. Mm-hmm. So, because you'll always have a green or a blue. So I had to do non-mirrored increases, and bazinga, then her instructions were right. So yeah, I've knit this sleeve 3 times. I'm just now getting to where I just broke the threshold where I'm back to where I had tinked back. Just now hit it. But it's going to be a fantastic FO once I get the sleeves done. It's just these darn sleeves.
Damn it.
What pullover do you know that needs 3 sleeves? This one right here. This human being right here needed 3 sleeves. And so yeah, that'll be fun. I'm enjoying the knit. I'm enjoying the fabric that it's creating. I'm enjoying that the sleeves are going to be really roomy. Fits over the top of this sweatshirt even. Mm-hmm. And hoping that the blue does not leak onto my beautiful green when I wash it.
You didn't wash a swatch?
I have not.
Okay, living on the edge.
We may end up like spray blocking it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that if you don't swish it around a lot, you just get like dip it and get it wet, and then like blot it dry, that if things don't run.
Okay.
Or if things are want to run, that will minimize the runnage. I don't think I've ever had any merino silk run though. Have you ever had any? I think it's probably far more likely that the silk will get a little fuzzy when I wash it versus the color running. But I have lots and lots of enabling to show off. So.
Me too. Not near as much, I don't think. I mean, I don't.
It just feels like a lot.
I wasn't with you very much, so
yep.
You could have went crazy.
Washed your head. And you could have gone crazy too. But I think it's just all relative, knowing that what I know about how much that I actually needed to have thought. Mm-hmm. I did not have. I looked through my stash before I left. I did not have any Sun Valley sweaters quantities left. Although I did have some coordinating that I plan on using. So Miss ISO for Dance had a very beautiful pullover on that I absolutely loved out of Wicked, and so I got the same wickedly talented Jeanette and George yarn here in the Wicked colorway. If this isn't Megan, I don't know what is. Some of their more recent colorways just seem to have a glow to them, and again, I think it's that low light, highlight depth of color, but doesn't this just kind of seem like it has a glow to it?
I believe I was assaulted.
You were assaulted in that sweater.
Oh.
Like, it came running at me and gave me a hug.
It did.
It was wicked. It was wicked. So yeah, that's their BFL base, and I've got, with 5 skeins, I've got enough to do a colorwork sweater, and then I've got Silver Streak in the BFL that I've got a couple of skeins with, so I think I can do like a top yoke at least, if not maybe a bottom trim as well. And then I was trying to decide on kind of a vacillate-esque like top that I'm planning on putting together, but without like the vacillate motif in it. Just the interchange of the two. So I got some more Bazinga Blue in the MCN, and then new to me, I don't think I've seen it before, was Bare Feet. And so I thought these played really well together. And then if all else fails, this beautiful, the colorway that was in the goodie bag, Lake Effect, could be mixed in there as well if you had a silvery blue green. So, and these are all in the MCN base, which is just super soft and super fantastic. And then went to Wisconsin Craft Mart, which, or Crafters Market.
Craft Market.
Craft Market. I said it 2 iterations and I didn't even get it right. And you kind of walked into the front, so I ended up getting a lot of crafty stuff. I got some play sand for the kids, got a color by number, like, and letters, so really good practice for Dexter to color in, book, and then got some Star Wars Pop Rocks that the kids have eaten.
I almost grabbed those.
In alternate universe parallel shopping. And what else did I get there? Oh, a Springbok puzzle. Did I already say that? For Ellie, that she's already put together. That's got some colored pencils. And but when you walk in, that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like it's more of like a crafting, almost like an old school Ben Franklin. And then you get into the back and it's like yarny paradise. They have Lopi and every color of Cascade and Regia and a whole aisle of needles. And a person could go kind of crazy there. I know we spent like 2.5 hours there. How long did you guys? No clue. Didn't stop watching.
No, it's just me and Leah, so not very long.
Okay. But they had an extensive stash of 3 Irish girls, and I was super duper enabled by the 3 Irish girls have a new Adorn Luxe base, which is more merino and less nylon. So 85% merino, 15% nylon, 430 yards for 3.5 ounces. And I got Rocket Man, which is kind of a gray with a pop of rainbow on that one end. And I also got, it's Sea of Love, and this looks like it's a gradient. I actually had this in my hands with another gradient that I was going to match the dark end of that gradient with the light end, and then they had a note up that this will actually stripe. It's not a gradient in that sense of the term. I still think it's super pretty. And they had a lime green one that was calling my name, but it wasn't on this Adorn Luxe base. So 3 Irish girls there, and then I got some Regia. I don't know how you say it. I think my sister would have called it Regia because it sounds like Regina. She really liked that name, oddly. A great marl, kind of a bluey, reddy, green marl, in a colorway from them that I had not seen.
I was told that they had some hard to find Regia too. I didn't know that Regia was hard to find, but
some of the Arnie and Carlos stuff.
They had a lot of it there.
I was also gifted another shawl that has some fabulous tassels that Melanie knit for me for my birthday. And if you line up the tassels just right, I'm told that you can swing them around a little bit. And then wonderful.
Sounds about right.
Yep, for me anyway. And then let's just layer. It goes with it too. Look, another thing to put with my hoodie and feel really fancy. And then Heidi knit me a very beautiful, or knit me, wove a very beautiful. My other one is actually, it hangs on my my cupboard handle, and the kids use it to open the.
Oh, because
they're too short. Yeah, so it's low enough. It's like a handle extension and pot holder in one.
Got it.
Yeah. And this matches my kitchen because, believe it or not, Heidi, this is the color of the paint in my kitchen. The green that is all over. Are you sensing a theme? I really like the cross hatch and the patterning in it. Super pretty. And then everything else that came, I also got gifted Corey gave me a Trees at Dusk tam. There's a biker and a runner and a hammock and a tree. Yeah, so a color work kit. She said I couldn't have knit it for you, but then I was like, no, she can enjoy the knitting of it as well. So, yeah.
What yarn was in it?
I don't know. Jagerspun is what the pattern calls for, so maybe Jagerspun. Maybe. Yeah, yep. Jagerspun. Okay. And the colors. And some charts. So some fun color work there. Don't have to ask me twice. And then what was in the goodie bag. So, I want to see your goodie.
Oh, what I bought?
Yeah.
So, I will start with the gifts. Now, if I missed one, I apologize. It's at home. So, Heidi also got me a pop holder. It is uber colorful.
Yes.
And I think the fun part for me was that as I saw them coming out for other people like Megan and whoever else got one, who was lucky enough to get one, I like my colors the best. Like, come out and be like, I still like mine the best.
Heidi knows her Amy.
She does. So, love that.
I forgot to mention I got a stitch marker set with a bird on it. And then I was looking at it, and it was from Carla, and I was like, this is a dick sissel. Oh, is everybody else's birds inappropriate names? Apparently the inappropriate 12-year-old minded person got the one that's most inappropriately named. So,
and then while I was at the Craft Mart, they actually had the size loom that makes these pot holders. So I was like, oh, I need to pick that up so that I can get me some more of those and
make them at home.
Yeah, and they had a little bit, or no, they had a pack of, I think it's this green. If not, it might be a little bit darker, but you know, something to get us started and beyond what was in the box. Cool. And that's that. And then Amber, Heidi's mom, gave me all of these wonderful minis, and if they look familiar, they are the 2015 Steve's year of collection. So it's got the OM Squee and the, I don't know, I don't remember all the names. That was the one that jumped out.
I just knit Jeremy socks out of. The Mornings in the Backyard. Kaleidoscope.
Yeah. So really pretty, and will be.
She is like a professional little mini skein maker there.
I know. These are very professional. Yeah. So then these will be going into my blanket. And then as the weekend went on, more people gave me stuff. So this is a bag. Probably started with just a few in there, and then as people gave me some, I added more. So there was one, just like all sorts. Beautiful colors too, like that, look at that craziness. So very fun.
Are those going to be integrated into the blanket or the skirt?
Some of these are big enough that they could do both.
Ooh.
So I don't need very much for my squares. So this one was lovely. And that one.
Oh, you did come home with quite a bit of yarn.
I mean, this one I think will go into my smittens because it looks a little bit more like hand spun than not. And then and then all of these in here looking so lovely. You know, of course, people told me like this one is another crafty girl, and this one is leading men fiber arts, and this one is I don't remember, and so it just went on and on like that, and I love it. It was fun.
Yeah.
I got those.
You let it be known out there that you need something.
I
people
did.
Are like,
yeah.
Woot woot.
That I can do, they said. Okay, just making sure that that was it for the minis. So then on to the Craft Mart. So I got the loom, and then I got little extras, pot holders. I got some jelly beans for the kids. I was very close to buying my daughter a stuffed animal or some other kit thing, but really couldn't find anything for my son, so candy it was. But they really enjoyed it. And I bought raw stuff for my mom so that she can knit with that. Because I think I had bought her some, but then I ended up knitting with it and giving her the finished object. So this one she can knit herself. I think she will enjoy that. And then I too got the Three Irish Girls Adorn Luxe. And I almost walked out without anything, and this was like behind something. And I was like, well, that's splattertastic. I like it. And then it was, oh, it's the new base. Okay, coming home.
And you shall be invited to my home.
Yes. So I almost walked out with one skein of yarn and then just stuff for the kids. I was uber good. But then, yeah, that other one, and then I didn't feel quite so good. So then the sock blockers you saw. And then I got these DK BFL for a hat for my son. Probably a Wonder Wander. And if I can eke out two, I will give my son the one where the band is yellow or orange, and my husband the one where the band is gray. And that'll be fun.
I have a smaller head than your children, but I did mitts and a shorter hat with my just 2 skeins.
Cool. So I should
be
2 hats.
Yeah, for sure.
Should be all set.
For sure, for sure.
And then I too got the lovely lake effect. And then I posted out online a picture of my awesome Gel Bee stitch marker with a little snowflake on it. But we also got like a little inch thing, and we got the, where is this from? I've seen them in a particular place that people know about, like the supply company or something. Anyway, got those. They're far away from you. You want them
I'm very
closer.
protective of my tassels.
No, they were nowhere near your tassels.
I saw them coming from
Tape measure. And
I'm getting warm. How many shawls?
And so, yeah, very lovely. Yeah, and then, yeah, the lake effect was really pretty. I was trying to find something to go with it, and I just went, no, I think I'll keep it as its only thing.
I walked up to a table and I was like, do any of you have your, because I had taken mine back up to the hotel room. Do any of you have the yarn that came in the goodie bag? Because I'm trying to find something to match it with them. And they were like, we bought all of it. You can't get any more. And I was like, no, I'm not talking about buying more of it in the shop. I'm talking about trying to match it up with something else.
Everybody was defensive, like, stay back.
Yeah, exactly. It's mine. It's all mine. It is a really pretty color. If gray is your color,
yes, it's very nice.
Yes.
And yeah, I really, really like that stitch marker. I wanted more of them. I was like, I think that you got a different color, and I want more.
Amy is a Gel Bee hoarder.
Well, I
did hear you pronounce. If anyone doesn't want theirs, I'd be willing. I don't even. I think mine might still be in my little baggie. I've got my.
You should show me the color, because I didn't really see anybody else's colors, but Jeanette informed me that there were at least 5 colors.
Yeah. Well, I got you the one that has the So but this was a snowflake.
It was a snowflake.
So
and the ball was smaller. Like, it wasn't as substantial of a thing to be hanging off of your knitting. So I think that's what I really liked about it. Just slightly smaller, and it became more of my type of stitch marker.
In other news, trying to wrap up here quickly, for ZK, we have things going. We've got our logo. I've colorized it and manipulated it, and will hopefully maybe by the time I get this published, have it out there on the blog for you to go take a look at what the new logo is going to be. So the grand unveiling of the logo, getting together the specifics for the t-shirts. Amy is working on her excursion. I am working on the cost of the 5K. I put out a thread for the VKNage, so if you're interested in video chatting with folks that are going, asking questions, answering questions, making new friends before we're all hanging out in Rochester together sooner than is possible in my mind. Go out there and vote on a day that works best for you. Again, we're not going to be able to address everybody's, but maybe we can have like a wandering day, like not always have it be on Tuesday like it was last year, and then also have folks volunteer if you're interested in. Yes. It's basically posting the thread, posting the link in the thread, and then kind of keeping the conversation going / leaving it open, as people kind of matriculate in and out. So Amy and I would like to be involved in those VKNs, but can't always do the dates that people would pick. And so it will be nice to have some folks also be able to man them and be at the helm. And maybe folks, I don't know, from my management experience, sometimes people feel more comfortable talking to other folks rather than asking their manager questions. Right? Yes. So if we are the manager of the retreat, if we're management, it might be easier for folks to ask questions of others as well that aren't us.
Agreed.
And you've been busy as well.
Yes,
collaborating on top secret funness.
Yes. So very close to determining the price. Last year we had a sponsor that paid for the bus. This year we do not. But that gives us more time at the place. We won't be spending so much time traveling to multiple places. So hopefully it'll be nice and relaxing, and it'll be a nice getaway. And if you're into beer tasting / Quince and Company, it will be right up your alley.
Cool.
I was trying to think if there was anything else that you wanted to impart. Yeah. It left my memory, so we should just wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.